The inventor of this game is a friggin' genius. Or madman, I can't decide. And I'll tell you why. My kids. My kids are so into this game that they've nearly hurt themselves. And yesterday, Bobby almost walked into oncoming traffic, and Maisie was on the roof. They're obsessed with it, playing it day and night, asking to go here or there to catch some Pokemon, and I can't let them go alone. Not only are they not old enough to aimlessly wander around looking for Pokemon, no. Even if they were old enough, I'd still need to be right there with them to make sure that they didn't hurt themselves. And since I have to be with them the entire time that they're playing, I can't get anything done. It's gotten to the point that they've woken us up in the middle of the night begging us to take them to catch Pokemon, which caused my husband to snap. "I've got to get up in 3 hours and you're in here acting insane," he shouted. "You're being completely inconsiderate of the fact that I have to go to work. Work that pays for, by the way, the phones that let you play that damn Pokemon game." The children blankly stared at their father as if he had said nothing, blinked once and repeated what they said, as if nothing had happened. Their father then snatched the phones out of their hands and said, "There, try to play without these." Again, they blankly stared at their father, blinked once, and in unison, as if on cue, they opened their mouths as wide as they could. So wide, it was unnatural, and screamed. It was louder than any scream I have ever heard, and longer too. They just stood there, without taking a breath, screaming. As the scream went on, it started to sound more like a high-pitched frequency. It didn't even sound like it was coming from them, but it was. Ear-piercing. We covered our heads with pillows. The scream was so loud it was immobilizing. Praying that it would end soon, it suddenly dissipated. But it wasn't gone, just displaced. It sounded like it was coming from outside our open window. When we removed the pillows from our heads to look at our children, only to realize they were no longer standing in front of us, making this sound, but now rather on the front lawn. But what was even more frightening than this oddity was the fact that now they stood on our front lawn, omitting this scream, if you would call it that. We watched as countless children and adults, with their mouths hung wide open, omitting the same sound, approached our children, slowly and methodically. We watched from our second-story window this, and then again as if on cue. They all simultaneously turned and stared right up at us. "Honey," I whispered, tugging on his shirt sleeve. "I think I just peed a little." He waited, and then responded, "Me too." In any other situation, that comment would have been funny, but this was far from hilarious. Without saying a word, my husband tossed their phones down to them from our window. Bobby and Maisie unflinchingly caught them, robotic-like, but stood there frozen momentarily. At that moment, every single person that had aimlessly wandered to our lawn blinked, and then, as if they were suddenly awake, began to return from where they came from. We watched for a few minutes as they all slowly disappeared into the night, and then, as if nothing super crazy had just happened, the children again asked us to take them to look for Pokemon. We both looked at them, confused, then turned to look at each other. "I'll take them," I said. "You go to bed." "No," he said. "No, we'll both go."